Hello everybody, my name is Hawk Nightwing, the most unapologetic Defender G5 you'll ever meet, and welcome to my first ever writing analysis video. Now, Season 2 of Taruto is off to a roaring success currently. One of the most interesting additions to the canon for me in particular is the introduction of the new main six's virtues, which debuted in the first episode Icy Prince. Now, the main characters of LMP having basic virtues is not a new thing for this franchise. It was a common feature throughout Friendship's magic with the elements of harmony. Being a show designed to teach basic morals to kids, it was an interesting approach having our main leads embody some sort of core personality trait that directly connected to their magical abilities. Yet from Season 4 onwards, they seemed to lean away from relying on the elements all too much, until they were eventually destroyed without a second thought. It was a sign of this franchise moving on from being educational, and I feel like it lost something fundamental that made the Faust era intriguing to watch. So imagine my surprise when G5 brought back the educational concept, but Tired Tail had the main six symbolize core personality traits that kids can easily identify with. It's a back-to-basics approach that really feels like the staff want to return to the glory days of early FIM, with a lesson-a-day style approach, and have the character teach the audience something. So far they've been used in quite interesting ways. Since their conception in the very first episode of Season 2, I've admittedly been intrigued by them. In the same way the elements of harmony virtues were studied by fans for years and their bearers analyzed to death, I've been pretty interested in seeing if I can explore this topic further, and see what further understanding we can gain from doing the same. So in this video, I decided to break down each one of the virtues presented throughout the episodes, explain what they mean for each of the core casts, and how I think they'll be used going forward. Before we begin, if you are new here and you are not subscribed to the channel, then what are you waiting for? We analysts appear to be a dying breed at the fandom, as mindless hate videos are all the rage now. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then feel free to slam that like button and subscribe to the channel for more amazing funny content just like this. YouTube's algorithm works in mysterious ways. Small contributions like this make a huge difference in helping me grow. This is my pointlessly detailed analysis of the main six's virtues. Let's start with the main protagonist of Generation, and my all-time favorite character, Sunny Starscout. Her core virtue, or element if we want to get technical, is stated to be hope. And here's why I believe this is. Out of all the virtues that could be given, Sunny seems to embody hope the most. For most of her life, she's always been this optimist in a dark world, and she never stopped believing in those around her. She always did her best to inspire the best in others, and she succeeded in doing so. In fact, her mission in New Generation was all about giving hope in the first place. And this is hammered home during her final speech to the pony leaders, where she convinces them that joining together in friendship is better than living in isolation.
We can stay separated by fear and distrust. Or we can choose friendship. We can choose love. That's the true magic.
She's giving them hope and putting others first, even after she lost everything, including her home. That whole scene was all about her embodying hope as a virtue, as by restoring magic, she directly helped give future generations hope for a brighter future. And her arc through Make and Mark and Tired Tail was about learning more about herself and her abilities, so she could help improve the lives of others, which in turn gives them hope. We see her explain this motivation in Alicond, which is a pivotal episode for her character arc in my opinion. While her friends are comforting her, Sunny says this about why she doesn't want ponies to view her as just the alicorn.
I want ponies to believe, truly believe in what they're fighting for. That they can make the world a better place for every pony kind.
She wants to give back to her community and provide them with a better future, which is a motivation that carries over throughout the entire show. This is even hammered home in the roots of all evil when she confronts Opaline and her arc comes full circle. This is what she says during her final speech.
Hope. Hope for a better future. For all ponies to make their mark. Because I have hope. And I have friendship.
Sunny cares about others, and I'll give them something to hope for, something for them to wake up to. This is in part due to the fact she never had that growing up, so she wants to spread it to as many other ponies as possible, so that future generations would never have to endure what she had to go through for so many years. Which is a very noble motivation. Her main reason for making friends is out of a desire to connect with others and show them better ways to live. So hope fits her character perfectly. I can even point to so many of her solo episodes throughout Tired Tail being focused on this arc of alicornhood, and it's something the staff always lean into. It's not exactly clear right now what sort of arc she'll be embarking on now that we have a new overarching storyline, but they seem to already set the stage for her being particularly forgiving of Allura, as shown in the first episode of Season 2, so it's likely that she might attempt to unsuccessfully reason with the Snow Leopard at some point. I'm particularly looking forward to what this show does with her going forward, as she had arguably more focus here than in Making Mark itself. Her first arc was all about learning to be a leader, so I'm particularly intrigued to see what sort of journey she embarks on next. Out of all the characters that the virtue of kindness we passed down to, Hitch seemed like at the time to be a very odd choice. Aside from sharing the talking animal trait with Fluttershy, it didn't seem like he was the right stallion to have that sort of trait to be the defining one. But now after seeing his arc come to completion, I think I understand why. While I'm saving things for my own analysis video on Hitch, I still feel like I can say some stuff about him here. First of all, his character arc throughout G5 is all about letting go of the past and embracing those around him. It was established very early on in New Generation that despite not believing Sunny about the whole pony unity thing, he was never gun-ho about the hatred for unicorns and Pegasi. His outlook was more morally gray. He was a lot more open to having his mind changed. I think learning to embrace those around him and let loose was the perfect step for his character. It allowed him to see others for who they truly were, get out of his comfort zone a little bit. And throughout Make Your Mark, we see him change from that of a Lone Ranger to that of a proud father who would do anything to protect his son, Sparky. Even going so far as to literally turn into Batman once he thinks Sparky's missing.
Evil, I'm coming for you!
Hitch? Zoom? Thunder? What are they doing here?
It looks like Hitch is gearing up for something epic.
And intense.
He learned to embrace the unfamiliar and look out for others. He had a journey about becoming a father to Sparky and protecting the ones he loves. It's shown throughout the series how he gradually begins to open up more and more about how Sparky impacted his life.
Coming here has shown me that every pony deserves to find their home, where they belong. One day, I'll have to let him go, but I won't leave him here all alone.
And it allowed him to feel closer to others different than him. There is a definitive character progression here throughout this generation I'll get more into in my own video. But one scene that strikes me as the definitive moment he used kindness as a virtue is when he chose to play ball with that lonely filly as a colt, which got him his cutie mark. It established him as a leader willing to give to others very early on, which is important to understanding how the virtue fits him. It even Taruto shows growth in him as well. And I think the episode Cake Dragon really hammers home the kindness virtue in the form of his turning the rampaging Cake Dragon into a plushie to give Sparky a companion. It really shows his growth in how he stepped into his new role as a guardian. He would put himself on the line for others and do anything to make them happy. And that's a perfect character arc for him that I think they should capitalize on further. Will they do it soon? Who knows? It currently looks like they're doing standalone episodes for different characters. I'd like to see him use the virtue more to help others like he did for Sparky. Or maybe more episodes where his fatherhood is put in the spotlight, so that we can see more of the bond he has with Baby Dragon. Those are just a couple of examples, though. This one is pretty self-explanatory. I don't think it really needs much background explanation. But one thing I will say is that creativity does suit Izzy's character to a T. It's always been her defining character trait, and it makes her a distinct character from Pinkie Pie in FIM, who is much more in touch with their party planning skills than arts and crafts. While creativity as a virtue may be a bit simplistic, the ways you can interpret it go far beyond just crafting stuff. Izzy established to be a very quick thinker, and she's usually coming with very innovative solutions whenever her friends are in any given situation. Take for example when she's able to disguise her friends in the movie, or when she helped create the fake portal to fool Allure and Secrets of Starlight. While these are crafting-based solutions, they do establish how Izzy's able to think on her hooves and come up with solutions under pressure. She loves to help her friends and share her talents with the world, even to detrimental extents like we see in Sneak Thief Strikes Again and Tell Your Tale. And this is important to note because it's established that much of her innate skills stem from a feeling of isolation growing up. Izzy in the movie was a very lonely character, so she used her crafting skills to compensate for having no friends, such as creating ponies out of materials such as senior butterscotch. So relying on herself was always a form of survival for her, but the most interesting thing is that she loved doing it. She saw it as something she loved doing, and that passion was so built into her character that it was how she got her cutie mark by building that fountain out of old junk. And even when she has friends, she never stops being herself. In fact, she jumps at the opportunity to make her friends friendship bracelets and share tea with them. If you take a look at Make Your Mark Chapter 2, the very first episode is about her creativity, teaching us on how not to overextend it, so it's a virtue that the writers did want to lean into from the very start. As for what she'll be doing in the future, it's too early to tell, but what I'm hoping is that the staff give her more moments to show off her intelligence and intellect going forward like I just described, as it really does add to her character. Being a detective and naturally curious, Zip Storm for me has always represented bravery. She's not afraid to ask questions and investigate the world around her. In fact, some have said she takes more initiative than Sunny herself does, which I don't exactly agree with, but I can see why some would have that sentiment. Zip as a character is very in touch with the world around her, and wants to help in any way she can. She grew up questioning things and wanting to explore the environment she's in. Plus, she's not afraid to speak out when it matters most, such as calling out Queen Haven for lying to the Pegasi about the royals flying, or launching herself into investigations she knows are dangerous, but she still does these things because she wants to help in any way she knows how to. It's a very noble motivation to have, and she's certainly proven herself to be very fearless. So it only makes sense that bravery would be her ultimate character trait, because she's the type to put herself on the line in order to discover the truth about the world she lives in, and discover more about herself in the process. That was a major highlight throughout Make Your Mark, as she seemed to take a leading role in many of the events that transpired, such as being the first to inquire about Twilight Sparkle's hologram and growing pains, and wanting to discover more about the alicorns in the main grade ball. She was inquisitive and curious, even to a fault, and sometimes she had to be talked down from her investigations every once in a while, and learn to respect the boundaries of others. And even in Tell Your Tale, that side of her still remains, she still takes initiative in embarking on investigations, and detecting clues such as in Icy Prince, where her discovery directly led to Sunny and the others finding out about Allura. And even then, she wastes no time in calming the ponies of Maritime Bay down when they panic over the paw print, and going headfirst into the forest with Sunny to discover more about the frozen area. Due to all this, I think Bravery fits her immensely because it encapsulates everything her arc was building toward throughout this first chapter of G5's story. Learning to be brave and taking initiative on things, which she has shown to do. As for what I want to see from her going forward in entire tale, I want to see her discover more things about Allure that directly help advance the plot forward like she did in Icy Prince, as having her do that did succeed in giving her a strong start to the season that I hope to continue. I feel like everyone and their grandmas has their own opinions on Pip, and a lot of it is negative. Me personally, I never understood the hate for her outside of the movie, and I feel like I should add one more analysis video to the current slate just dedicated to defending her, but I'll save my thoughts for her overall later on. What I do want to touch on here is her virtue, which is confidence. And I think this suits her. As an influencer and singer, she's meant to inspire confidence within her viewers and her fans. She likes to inspire others around her to be their best selves. While the social media aspect may seem stereotypically modern, it's actually a unique outlet for her to express herself and build confidence within herself. While Zip doesn't like the attention she receives from the other Pegasi and Zephyr Heights, Pip is more so some pony who actually craves it, but doesn't have the courage to express that desire in as articulate manner as Zip does. It's why she's prone to making irrational decisions throughout Chapter 2 of Make Your Mark, like taking the lantern when she saw Zip having fun on her investigation.
I found the lantern outside the Bright House this morning, and I was going to show you right away, but your cutie mark was glowing. I had no idea it'd send you on a trail after Misty.
A big part of her arc is discovering the confidence to communicate things better, while also trying to be an inspiration to others that seem to tie to episode's sense of adventure. Where a big part of the reason why she drives herself to pick up all the flowers in the Bridalwood Forest is because she doesn't know how to say no to those who just wanted more of that smelly product. In the end, she learns to put her hoof down and commit to more environmentally friendly products from Maritime Bay. One thing I will give to the Terry Tale version of the Opening's defeat over the Make Your Mark version is that Pip is the one to take initiative when rallying the ponies to the Together trees, which acts as a better way to complete her arc throughout the show, at least in my opinion, as that one was all about confidence. I think in regards to Make Your Mark again, the Family Trees two-parter really does wonders to give her the extra dose of confidence, as she actually chooses to be away from her phone and actually experience things like a real pony, which is a big step up for her character in the long run. A lot of people don't get the underlying meaning behind why she actually uses social media and only focus on the surface level interpretation, which I don't quite get. As for what I wanted to do in the future, I want Pip to have more episodes focused on exercising this virtue. Now that she's learned it, I think a big way to further show her evolution as a character is to have her inspire others more often and give them confidence. I love Misty. That probably goes without saying considering how much time I've dedicated to analyzing and deconstructing her character in my own work, but it's true. She's by far the best characters generation, and next to Sunny, she might be my favorite character in any LP media due to how well she was written and how incredibly relatable to her journey of self-discovery was throughout G5's first arc. And her virtue is slated to be heart, which fits her perfectly as that was always her core attribute, having an immense level of empathy towards others, which could only come from having a big heart. Misty is a character who grew up in a tragic background. She was abused constantly by Opaline and forced to carry out actions she would rather not do, but felt like she had to in order to earn her cutie mark. That desire to be like everyone else, but not being able to due to a feeling of inadequacy, was one of the reasons why I believe her character arc works so well. She was raised to be evil, but she never lost her pure-hearted nature, and through her experiences with her friends, she learned there was more for her out there in life, and it culminated in her finally abandoning Opaline and missing the mark. The cracks in her loyalty were well built up throughout Make Your Mark and Terry Tale, and it felt natural. And even afterwards, her character journey still wasn't over, and it shifted to finding herself and discovering her self-identity. She got to find out about her past and family trees and reconcile with her estranged father Alphabet and father to Bridalwood. Everything about her arc just worked. She's a character that I also want to devote a full retrospective video to down the line, as I really have a lot to say. The point that I want to make is, Misty as a character represents the virtue part perfectly due to her experiences. Being an abuse survivor and a success story, she can relate to and understand others who don't feel special. Like I said in one of my previous videos, her speech to the townsfolk and the roots of all evil worked because she empathizes with those around her and gives her heart to them.
She kept me locked in her lair for moons, but I survived all of it, even without a cutie mark. No pony can take away what makes you special on the inside.
She's a unique sort of character in the fact she understands what it's like to feel not special, so her virtues exemplify her desire to not let anyone feel the same way she did. She's a great role model for kids to look up to, and is one of the many highlights this generation has. In terms of what I wanted to do next, well, I don't have to answer that question as the writers already have. They're already committed to giving Misty a new arc about learning to be a powerful unicorn, and I, for one, am all here for it. She was shown to be very proficient at using magic in the past, so I think this is the logical next step. Here's hoping this plotline continues, as there's huge potential to really expand on her character and give her a new leading role in the story. Terry Tale's virtues for me are perfect in the way they complement the characters, and demonstrate LMP still cares about teaching lessons to kids that they can use in their own lives. By choosing to do this, the writers are going the extra mile by putting the effort to have the characters teach us something through their core values. It's one of the reasons why I find Season 2 to be a lot more concise and focused than Season 1, as it really does feel like an actual show at this point. I feel like the absence of Make Your Mark has forced the series to improve on itself dramatically, and they're already showing that they have a new direction for G5 to go in. The entire show can rise above the juvenile reputation placed on it, and prove itself despite the short 5-minute runtime. The trope may feel repetitive at times, but I for one really appreciate the usage of these new virtues that the main 6 have for all the reasons just described. They really make it feel like our ponies have come into their own, and now dedicate themselves to teaching the rest of Equestria the values of unity and friendship. Here's hoping that this trend continues and we see more standout episodes on this show, because at long last, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that I am now actively invested in Tell Your Tale. But as always, I want to hear your thoughts, so feel free to let me know in the comments below whether you agree with my analysis or see things completely differently. If you have your own thoughts on our favorite ponies, post them below. You guys might not think I appreciate them, but I actually do love reading your own analyses, as it shows me I got you thinking, which is always my goal with these videos at the end of the day. And remember, for just a dirt cheap $9.99, you can unlock exclusive perks from my General Hawk membership tier, including priority replies, shoutouts, members-only videos, free unlisted writing tutorials just for you, and so much more. The link to join this channel will be in the description. Here's a shoutout to user Princess, who became the first member not too long ago. Until next time, this is Hawk Nightwing signing out. Hoof to heart.